Hello again, you guys, it's Carly from the Poetry of Nice, and today I have definitely a different kind of video for you guys. So I'm super excited about this video today. This video is actually in collaboration with 6 other YouTube reseller content creators, all of which will be linked down below in the description. If you're not familiar with them, we have Christina from Little Black Hanger, we have Shyleen from Shyleen Shawn, we have Courtney from Common Tags, we have Michelle and G from The Bin Pickers, we have Denali from El Ducho Thrift, and we have Amber from Amber Resells. So please, 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 if you haven't checked out any of their channels yet, you will have a wonderful time, I promise you, looking at their reseller content. They put out some amazing videos. I will, of course, have all of their YouTube channels linked below, and if you haven't checked out any of their channels, please hop on over there. They will also obviously be doing a video very similar to this. Common theme, if you like, for this shared collaboration is how reselling changed my life. The best part about everybody involved here is everybody has come from a different background, everybody has started reselling for a different reason or have different motivation, different business models, different ways that they go about running a similar business, essentially reselling things on online platforms. So of course, if you're interested in hearing about other people's journeys and their experiences reselling online and how they got to where they are today and why they do what they do, please do hop over to those channels and check out those videos. And don't forget to say hello in the comments and share those videos as well. Okay, you guys, so let's crack on. As I mentioned, this is a video about how reselling has changed my life. I'm taking this as an opportunity to get a little bit more personal with you guys. I've been making videos on my YouTube channel for several years now. I've gotten extra consistent in the last few months now that sort of some things have given way, and I'm really enjoying not just making the videos, like the creative outlet and stuff, but also getting to know all of you guys as well. I have noticed that some of your guys' questions have gone more towards like the personal side of things here and there as well, so I figured this was a really good opportunity to sort of say hello and reintroduce myself as like the person and not just the business, I suppose. So I started reselling about 5 years ago. I do have a bachelor's degree. It is entirely useless, so I don't use that in any way, but I do have a degree. As you can tell, I'm not from here originally. Quite a few of you have clocked onto that already. So I do live in the USA. I live in Tennessee, but I'm originally from England. I moved over here to be with my husband, essentially. So I moved over on a visa. That was 7 or 8 years ago now. It was a while, and since then we've obviously been married and we have 3 kids together now. We have 3 boys, 5, 3 and 1.5. So we have pretty busy lives, that's for sure. I started out with like regular jobs while I was over here, and I ended up working at a vet's. Like, I was training to be a vet tech for about 2 years, and then in amongst that I had my first child. The reason that I'm telling you all this is because it really relates to like the biggest component of how reselling changed my life, and how like starting and running my own business from home really sort of changed my trajectory, I suppose you could say. It's super personal, so just bear with me. But when I had my first child, I had a lot of issues afterwards. I had a lot of like funkier than usual hormonal shifts after I had him, and it resulted in very severe postpartum anxiety, and I couldn't sleep hardly ever. I didn't want to leave the house. I didn't want to be in the house. My husband and I joke about it now and talk about it as the time when I lost my mind, but it's not, you know, it's not really funny. And obviously if anybody out there is having issues, feel free to reach out to me, reach out to somebody else. Like, I urge you completely to do that. I did have medical care at the time, but it was a really rough road. And so that kind of took me out of work. I was very anxious, as you can imagine, to put my child into any kind of childcare. It all just was part and parcel of the anxiety, and so I didn't. And I did go part-time at my job for a while, and I worked basically on the days when my husband didn't work, so we could take turns looking after our son. And as you can imagine, in terms of family dynamic, that doesn't work very well for a happy family life. So after about a year of doing that, I decided to stay home, and I didn't start reselling then. I had kind of played on and off with it. Like, we together, my husband and I, had gone to like yard sales occasionally and found cool stuff and sold it locally or online just as a bit of a hobby now and then. But overall, it wasn't something that was on my radar yet. So I kind of went full force into the stay-at-home mom, even with like the mental the mental issues, the mental health issues that I was having. I went full force into being a stay-at-home parent. I struggled, and that's the only way I can say it. I really struggled. Some people are made for being a stay-at-home parent, and God bless them, that's amazing. And I never felt that I was very good at that role, but I just really had a hard time. I had a hard time with like the isolation, and as you can probably gather, because I moved over here, I didn't have a lot of my immediate family anywhere near me. I did have my husband's family, who were phenomenal, and you know, we definitely bonded through the whole situation, I'll tell you that. But overall, the support system was very limited. My husband was fantastic through the entire thing. There could not have been a kinder, more supportive, understanding man. But he also had to go to work. Like, he had responsibilities. We have bills to pay, all that kind of stuff. So he couldn't hold my hand every day until the end of time looking after our child. So anyway, I got stuck into being a stay-at-home parent, and then when my son was about 22 months old, we had our second child, and actually things were a lot better. I realized that my situation is not that applicable to very many people in terms of my experience after having my first son, but I want to share it while I'm here because, number one, it's a very large component of my story, my personal story that I'm telling you today. And also, if there's anybody out there who's wondering, I feel like I want to go ahead and share this insight as well. With my second child, I was very blessed, and with my third, that I didn't have the same issues. I didn't have the same hormonal shifts, I didn't have the same mental health issues, and also, quite frankly, I was a bit more seasoned as a parent. It was slightly less of a shock, and that helped as well. So just to let you know, there definitely is hope that it doesn't have to be a reoccurring situation. I feel like it's important to mention that. Okay, so second child was born, and this is when I really started getting into reselling properly. I started when I was pregnant with him, and when he was just a few weeks old, and we would drive around to yard sales and we would buy things like pack and plays and stuff, and we would sell them locally. So we'd buy one for like 10 bucks and we'd sell it locally for $50, and that was kind of the beginning of that. And I quickly realized I didn't much like the local selling stuff because, you know, sometimes people turn up, sometimes they don't. You have to drive a lot, you have to schedule a lot. It was very full on. So I started looking more at taking everything online. In this time, I started kind of forming a business, I suppose you could say. I started taking on the majority of the sourcing. I started watching a lot of YouTube channels, like a lot of YouTube channels that I still watch right now. Again, check out those links below because these are definitely some of the people that like I watch habitually. But I started watching a lot of YouTube, and I started learning more and more about what sells and where. And it was kind of twofold for me. So having all of these YouTube channels, like this source of information, first of all, it gave me a little bit of a distraction, home all day on my own with the kids. It kind of made me feel, as sad as this is, like I had friends and community, because, you know, I could talk to people in comments, or if nothing else, it was just like the sound of another human voice. I don't know, that sounds really silly when I say it out loud, but if you're a parent, maybe you will understand what I mean. Like, sometimes you just need to feel like you're not completely on your own all day every day. It's whatever, it is what it is. So that was like one part of it, and the second part was it sort of spurred me on to start creating something that was my own. And so, like I said, I started kind of forging forward with this business, and there was a lot of trial and error involved in terms of what to buy and where to sell it. You know, I started with a lot more hard goods, a lot more vintage goods, and very slowly over time I moved more into vintage clothing, then contemporary clothing, and I'm at where I am now, where I sell on the 3 platforms that I sell, and the majority is clothing with a few hard goods sprinkled in here and there. But overall, I would say the best part of this entire thing is it gave me purpose. So I was really struggling, like I said, as a stay-at-home parent, and having just like the care of the kids, I suppose, being my sole focus and nothing else. Starting this business, although it took so much of my time and energy, it revitalized me is the only way that I can describe it. It gave me something that felt very purposeful, because not only was I contributing financially to my family, and we finally started making some real headway on paying off our debts. I've shared with you guys on this channel a lot that reselling for me has been, or for us I should say, has been a really important element in paying off a lot of debt. It's been a long journey, and we've made a lot of progress, and we're on our, God willing, our final debt that we have other than our house, which is our minivan, and we are scheduled to finish that next month, fingers crossed. So it's played a huge part in the financial well-being of our family and in my sense of purpose, contributing financially to that journey. But also for me, it's just given me a sense of purpose as a person as well. Creating something and learning a new skill set and networking and deciding my own business strategies and policies and customer service strategies and all that kind of stuff, and teaching myself essentially how to run a business. And the best part is that it's something that almost equates to like family time for us now. Like we all go out and thrift together. My kids absolutely love a good rummage sale. They love thrift stores. They love looking for treasure, and it has helped us communicate with them as well, like about frugality and about work ethic and about entrepreneurship and things like that. Like they understand the older that they get, like what it is that I do and the amount of work that it takes, but also what the benefit and the payoff of that is. It also changed our life being able to resell online, because becoming a second income family, as it were, you know, it's allowed us to do things as a family that we wouldn't have been able to anymore. So obviously the debt freedom is a huge part of that, but also being able to like take vacations and stuff together. And that's been a really nice catalyst for like relaxation and getting to know each other and just sitting back and like taking stock of what all we've achieved, because I'm very much in the mindset of like work and like never stop, and obviously nobody can ever do that. I wouldn't say I have an obsessive personality, but I can tell in this video it's probably coming across that way. But I am very focused, and I am very driven, sometimes to a fault, and very prone to stress. But being able to take advantage of having that second income and having just very solid downtime as a family has been a really big component in our family life. And the thing is as well, it's going to help us to enjoy the future and stuff. You know, once this debt is gone, then it's going to allow us to save and invest a bit more. You know, it's no different to if somebody were to leave the house and go to a second job, and you know, you're able to make more financial, like bigger financial strides and things doing that and pursue more financial freedom. It really is exactly the same, but reselling has allowed me obviously to do it without having to have the outgoings of childcare, which with 3 kids is steep, let me tell you. As well as, you know, as for all my struggles and how difficult I have found it to like adapt to the new role of mom over the years, it has definitely been nothing but a blessing to be able to be at home with my kids. The fact that I can be involved in their lives at the level I can, and yes, I get a lot of guilt having to work with them around, and the older they get, like I said, the more they understand. But I do feel guilty. I do get like a lot of sort of mom guilt around that. But like I said, they are very involved in our plans, our family plans, our family goals. They know what we're striving for. They comprehend it as much as they can at their age, and they are in their own way are supportive of it as well. I just have to be careful, me personally, that like managing my time and my attention and things, that they are always the priority, not my business. And yes, I am driven to grow my business as fast as I can, and you know, as effectively as I can, and that really only happens when you are able to focus and not be distracted, and that just is not my season in life at all. I've had so many of you guys reach out to me and say that you're in similar situations, which is pretty much why I'm sharing this as my reseller journey, as it were. I felt sort of comfortable giving you some insight on what it has been like for me in a very realistic way, being a working mother and like an entrepreneur and a mother in a very specific season of life, i.e. the babies and the toddlers and the preschoolers and whatnot. Because a lot of people have reached out and honestly said to me, like, I don't know how you do it, you inspire me, and that's really nice. But I want to make sure that I'm also very honest and transparent and realistic with you guys, and make sure that you know that there's, you know, struggles and sacrifices and blessings and elation and concern and anxiety and joy and all kinds of different stuff in the journey. So really my summation on this really cool topic that I'm super excited I got to share with you guys is that my absolute favorite thing, my number one thing that reselling online has done to change my life, is it has given me control and opportunity that I don't know I would have had otherwise. It came for me at a time in my life when I needed a positive change, and I needed to be given more control over my own life and my own well-being and my exposure to outside elements. It wasn't a time when I felt comfortable or like I could leave my children, and I didn't feel like I could pursue a career outside of my house, but at the same time I also didn't feel like I could completely commit and submit, I suppose you could say, to being the stay-at-home mom and no other element outside of that for inspiration or purpose or challenge, I suppose. So it really was a defining factor in me getting healthier and me being happier, is really the only way that I could describe it. All right, you guys, thank you so very much for being patient with me while I told you my little story. I hope that it was a positive influence for someone. And again, I just want to go ahead and say, if anything there resonated, and I know it would be a small percentage of viewers, I'm not expecting, you know, a bunch of people reaching out, but I do want to say that if anything there resonated and you want to reach out and say hi or ask a question or just feel like you need some kind of, you know, a small amount of support maybe, I want to let you know, like, you're welcome to do that. You can either comment on my email addresses down below, or even on Instagram you can DM me or anything like that. I'm very happy to say hello and just have a little bit of mama solidarity with you if you need it. One more thing real quick, please don't forget to hop on over to all of the channels linked below to all of the amazing content creators who are taking part in this collaboration as well, and hear a little bit of their stories. All right, you guys, thank you again, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye bye.